The fat distribution, whoa, I don't know. You know, sometimes you're just caught off guard and you can see yourself and you're just like, hello everyone, my name is Danny and welcome to my channel. So I've been away from YouTube for over 2 years or so, but hey, I was really into it at first and I kind of just went off of it and got distracted. Now I'm back 2 years later. Hi guys, how you doing? It's COVID, it's lockdown, and a lot has happened from a year ago to now in terms of my weight and everything like that. So I just wanted to talk about it today and hopefully give some advice and maybe even some motivation to change. The first thing that I'm going to kind of discuss is, of course, my history and how I've got to where I am or was. In secondary school, you know how you kind of like eat chicken and chips after school, like fizzy drinks, or like you just would not have the best diet as a teenager. And for some reason I didn't put on any weight, like at all. I wouldn't put on anything. Yeah, maybe around 16 or 17 I realized that I was putting on weight. But it wasn't a bad thing in my eyes, the weight that I was putting on, because the weight came in the right places. So for instance, my boobs and my bum, that's where I would put on the weight. So for the longest time I didn't care. I was actually very excited about the weight that I was putting on. But I would say maybe when I turned maybe 20, 21, the weight started to come in other areas. So maybe like my stomach or my face. And I was freaking out, like honestly I was freaking the hell out. From 19, 20, I really started to hate the way I looked. Like I would have bigger belly, I would have too much fat around my sides. You couldn't really see an hourglass or anything like that. It was more straight up and down. Like the fat distribution, whoa, like, I don't know. The fat distribution of my body just did not make any kind of sense. I didn't feel the best about the way I looked, firstly. Secondly, I didn't feel too good about how I looked at all. I mean, I would, even in the summer times, shy away from wearing shorter clothes or tighter clothes or just comfortable clothes in the summer. I wouldn't want to wear it. You would catch me in like a long top to hide my arms or just things that I didn't want to wear. So for the longest time I wouldn't take pictures of like my full body. It would always be this upwards. It would never be anything lower than my chest, I would say, for the longest time. So even when I was trying to look for pictures to put on this video, I couldn't find too many. I had maybe one, and that one picture was probably an accident. So anyway, but yeah, I just did not feel good about myself at all. So moving forward, around April time last year, I got really sick. I think it was April, May actually, April, May. I got really sick for at least 2 months, and with me being that sick, I couldn't eat any food. So I was really nauseous and I couldn't eat anything. After I did get over that illness, 2 months later I would say, when I first got ill, I was 12 stone. When I finally recovered, I was 1 stone lighter, and I could see so much changes in that 2 month period where I wasn't eating. Oh my gosh, like all of my clothes didn't fit and I felt so good. I felt so good, and it was the middle of the summer, so like all I wanted to wear was, you know, short things. So it kind of propelled me to continue the way that I was eating. Of course, when I got better, I would start eating. I feel like that whole 2 month period of me not eating and me just being so unwell kind of reset the way I look at food. It reset the way I looked at food and my relationship to food. So when I could eat again, my taste buds had changed. What I wanted, what I craved had changed. So yeah, so from there I had a whole different mindset, and on top of that I didn't have college to think about, I didn't have work to think about, so I had a lot of time to myself just to reevaluate why I ate what I ate, how much I would eat. So now I'm going to talk about what I did to lose the weight. So number one, I went on YouTube and I typed in how to get over binge eating, and that's when all the videos popped up on, you know, how to manage yourself and things like that, and how to do the mental work. So I went onto YouTube, watched a couple, and the ones that resonated with me, I saved them, and I will go back to them when I had my weak points. So moving on to the second thing, I had to identify and pinpoint all of my triggers. So a trigger for me, for instance, would have been boredom. Boredom. When I got bored, what would I do? Make something to eat. As soon as I got bored, I had to then retrain myself to find something else to do. So when I got bored, what did I do? Before, I would eat. Now, I would either do some stretches, do planks for 20 seconds or a minute, or I would watch a really, really good video about self-motivation. So remember I told you before that I saved some videos on binge eating, so whenever I had my weak moments, I would go to that video. Guess what? When I got triggered, I'd watch that video and it would reset my mind again. And sorry about, you know, the sun. I'm just working with natural light right now, so it will change. I stopped snacking. I love my snacks. If I'm anywhere, I need to have some access to a food supply. Crisps, I would have chocolate, I'd have sweets, I used to love Lucozade, apple Lucozade. That was my thing, apple Lucozade, that's what I used to drink. Cut that out. No more sugary drinks. On occasion, I would have like orange juice or apple juice, and even the orange juice has to have bits in it, so it's like that. What I have in replacement to fizzy drinks and things like that is sparkling water, and I put, it's just too ridiculous. I put this, you know the vitamin C tablet? I put this in my sparkling water and I have that as a drink. But it hits the spot, like I put 2 of them, hits the spot, okay? So get onto it. I would stop the drinks, I would stop the snacking, I would only eat when I had a meal, so lunch and dinner. And if I really was hungry, then I'll just have some like nuts or dried fruit. I buy small vegetables, so I would buy like a mini cucumber or like cherry tomatoes. That's what I would have as a snack. I also deleted Uber Eats and Deliveroo for a little bit until I got over my cravings. That would be what I'd spend most of my money on, would be Uber Eats beforehand. Like I would get maybe, I don't know, a bagel in the morning, maybe 2. I'll go to McDonald's, or I'll deliver from, well, order from McDonald's in the morning, and then in the afternoon I might have some Chinese, and then to top it off in the evening I'll have African food. Like there was no control, literally none. It takes time, but I wouldn't say eliminate everything so quickly. Take your time. Oh, and another important thing that I started to do was to implement a self-care routine in the evenings. This could differ for everyone, every morning, afternoon or evening, depending on your schedule. But, you know, this is something that I've never really had time for because of work, school, whatever. Honestly, it makes you feel so much better. It's kind of like a daily check-in with yourself, you know, how am I doing? Am I okay? How does my skin look? I usually do it after my exercise, but I have a shower, face mask, do my nails maybe, put my lotion on, listen to my music, even if it's once a week. Take the time out to look after yourself. In that self-care routine, I would also try to do self-love affirmations once a week. It's as important as exercise and healthy eating in my eyes. 10 minutes a day, whether it be financial self-affirmations, self-love affirmations, morning time affirmations, productivity affirmations, I don't know, but it helped a lot. that ties in with the self-care. You need to work on the mental before you even start with the physical. My diet, I started a keto diet. So keto is no carbs, sorry. I cut out rice, pasta, bread, all of those things I cut out for at least 3 to 4 months. Once all cravings for pasta had stopped, then I would slowly introduce that back into my diet. But I would only ever really have carbs like maybe once a week at that. Because that was the main thing for me, was the carbs. Because I'm a vegetarian, instead of having meat, rice and like veg, I would have just like double the rice. It would make me so bloated and things like that. So as soon as I stopped eating carbs, the weight literally just continued to just drop so quickly. Like you wouldn't even have to try. You don't even have to try, like it just would come off. Like do the keto diet as well as the intermittent fasting. So I would do 16 hours fasting and 8 hours eating. That's what I would do. The keto and intermittent fasting together, I'm sorry, but you're literally going to be losing your weight and you don't even know what to do with yourself. Like, it was crazy. And at first, obviously, having to have a short eating window was difficult at first, but you know, I was easy on myself, took my time. If I failed one day, I'll make sure that I have to get it right the next day. And within a month or so, it just became so simple, so easy to do. You don't even think about being hungry anymore. And I think intermittent fasting does change the way that you look at food. It does. Food would be on my mind 24/7, whereas now with intermittent fasting, I'm much more logical when it comes to food. Like I know it's not going anywhere and you don't even get hungry. Intermittent fasting has definitely changed the way I look at food. My urgency for food has dropped, like, and it's made me enjoy my food that I do eat much more. So when I do eat, I make sure I try to enjoy it rather than just eating blindly, even when you're not hungry. And that's another thing that I noticed, that when I was eating, I wouldn't even be hungry. I would just eat just because. But intermittent fasting, it makes you aware of what you eat. So if anything, I would definitely say you need to try intermittent fasting to lose the weight. And this is something that is not a fad. This is something that I'm going to continue for the rest of my life. So yeah, make sure that it's something that you can maintain. So you know, some people say, oh, eat once a day. No, well, is that something that you can continue for the rest of your life? Think about it. Find your window, mine's 16/8, and just work with it. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is exercise. So I only started to implement exercise into my routine maybe 2 months ago, I would say. And that has sped the weight loss dramatically. You know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I do 20 minutes a day of cardio. The days that I don't have my cardio, I just do isometric exercises. For instance, squats, planks, all those kind of things. I'm not the person to tell you to be in the gym or at home doing exercise for an hour and a half or 45 minutes. Me, I'm very, very simple when it comes to exercise. 10, 20 minutes every other day or every day if I feel like it, and I'm done. I feel as if when I put pressure on myself to do something or to complete something, it does not get done. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. And if I don't do the exercise one day, I don't beat myself up about it. I just think to myself, I'm gonna make sure that I do it the next day, so this day isn't a complete fail. So if I don't want to do it, I don't do it. But I make sure that it gets done at least 3-4 times a week, you know? One of the best videos that has helped me throughout this whole COVID period when it comes to exercise has been Chloe Ting. Chloe Ting has been my saviour. Honestly, that woman has changed my life. When I first started to exercise, her routines were something that was easy for me to grasp. There was so much variety. It was, I loved it. But now I've kind of moved on. to other people, just to make it a little bit more difficult, you know, so I don't plateau. I mean, I move on to other girls, but I'll include them in the video. Okay, so this video has gone on for far too long, but I've enjoyed